Every object carries a story. To some, they may seem ordinary, but to the people who hold them, they are pieces of a life fully lived. Inspired by the philosophies of Jim Evers, this film explores the power of connections across all ages. Inside the walls of the Nyack Library, lifelong learners share treasured objects and stories connected to them, while student volunteers listen and discover experiences far beyond their own perspectives. These interviews are more than just conversations. They become bridges between generations, between the past and present, between knowledge and curiosity. This film is a celebration of storytelling, reminding us that every life has a story worth sharing, and every generation has something valuable to teach.
Florence Ruth Bayless Katzenstein.
It's a great name. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I see you brought in some objects today. Could you tell me a little bit more about them, please?
Well, my great love are my rocks. I was born in 1930, and the economy took a nosedive down. You were lucky if you had enough food to put on the table. And my family, we had food on the table, so we weren't as bad off as a lot of our neighbors were. But I didn't have toys. So what do you do when you don't have toys? You make do with what's around. Mud, pebbles, leaves, acorns. You have to use your imagination. And to me, rocks have always been special. However, I'm too lazy to ever have gotten a book to say, what kind is it? Maybe because I was a dyslexic, I was afraid to get into something that was too technical. So what I could get with my eyes, nose, and mouth, I was willing to do. My other treasure is Hans Brinker and the Golden Skates. And where it came from, I don't know. It was in my parents' home. I read the first page over and over and over. And my mother would say, I'd say, what does? And she'd say, sound it out, sound it out. She kept saying it. I can hear her now. Thanks, Ma. Sound it out. And then one day, how old I was, I don't know, I turned the page and I read the book.
Wow.
It was like magic.
So what dreams and goals did you have for your life when you graduated?
What dreams did I have? That's interesting. Did I have any dreams? Well, I wanted to see the world, and I've seen a lot of it. I've always traveled, always inexpensively. You know, I never went on any fancy tours. Just get out there and pick up the rocks and smell them and lick them, whatever country you're in. And of course, I love talking to people. Young people are often told, don't talk to strangers. I say, talk to strangers. Ask them, where are you from? Tell me about yourself. And people love to tell you about themselves. But as I say, feel it, smell it, lick it, and do what you're told not to do.
Hello, it is so nice to be here tonight with you. My name is Isabella. I'm a senior at Nyack High School.
My name is David Brega. I live in Valley Cottage, and I am a young 66-year-old.
What items did you bring to our meeting tonight?
Well, I bought a couple things, but this is kind of significant of how the story has started. My father worked at Consolidated Stamp Factory in Spring Valley, and unfortunately he didn't take his hand out fast enough and he lost his 2 fingers in the stamp machine.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, obviously he didn't work at the stamp factory anymore.
I would hope not.
I guess really concerned about what he was going to do for his life and how he's going to make it better coming this far. He actually rented a garage in Valley Cottage, a gas station. And he rented the station in somewhere in 37. with the money that he received from compensation for losing his fingers, he actually bought the station in 1939, became his, at 22 years old. And that's how everything started for us in Valley Cottage, under the name of Brega, which some people are probably somewhat familiar with, and that would be the buses. This picture here shows some funeral cars and flower cars. He used to hire out for funeral homes if someone needed a flower car.
With your father's business, how did you find that affected you growing up?
I think maybe when we were in school, especially in high school, that the guidance counselor never really wanted to talk to me. It was like, oh, he's Brega. We know what he's going to do. So no sense wasting any time talking to him. But it was fun. It was good growing up. I think it's worse now having the name that people associate more,
What do you think your favorite story from back then at the garage is?
One really fun time that we had was, I don't know if people probably remember the name of Rasso with the beer, but he lived in Upper Nyack. And it was a bunch of these guys, Besso, I think, Rasso, they would play practical jokes on each other. Well, they tied a donkey up the front yard of Rasso's house, which is the last house going down to the hook on the right. So he wakes up in the morning, it's like, what do I do with this donkey now, right? So he calls my father, because we had the horses and sheep. And they said, Peter, you got to take this thing, My father, he was like, all right, as long as it eats hay, bring it over, right? So in the afternoon, here comes this trailer with the donkey on it. We get him out of the trailer, we open the fence, and you heard donkeys get stubborn? Couldn't get the donkey in the fence. We pushed, he went back. We pulled, his head went up. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was my brother or whatever. But anyway, we named it Peter, because my father was stubborn and we just called him Peter. But anyway, we finally got the donkey in the farm, and he was actually a good kind of makeup. He start hee-hawing at certain times. Horses don't really say much, but the donkey was good. And a lot of people loved coming and feeding him, and made it fun to be there.
Yeah, definitely an experience. What do you think you see yourself doing in 10 years? Are you still going to be with the buses?
Oh my God.
Somewhere else?
It's just, how many years you can do it. I've been doing it my whole life. The next generation seems to want to take it over, so it'll carry my father's name on through how many more years, and maybe we can make 100 years. Maybe you don't want to do the day-to-day grinding, but, be involved with it, or, take a sports trip.
What do you think the bottom line of it is? Obviously, it's rewarding to serve the community and to create this kind of bridge for people, which is what this whole project is about, really, is connecting people. You're really one of the biggest connectors our community sees. How many people do you really think are truly affected by what you do?
I guess gotta be hundreds and thousands. The name is connected with a lot of it, and and I like to say that 99% of it is good memories and thoughts and that kind of a deal. If you have an opportunity to do something, take a whack at it, because you never know what a simple thing could grow into.
Absolutely.
With a little bit of hard work and perseverance.
It was very hard to select something that I thought was important to me. But this is a watercolor that my mom did. She's talented painting, and it's from a trip that we took to Paris. So every time I look at it, I think of her. It brings back, the great memories of the trip that we took, and reminds me of her. But I really felt I picked this because I said it kind of represents 3 different areas of my life. One, of course, is my mom. We had a close relationship, but then it extends to more than my mother. It's my family, and it's family past and present. And then it's Paris, which I absolutely love, which is my favorite city in the world, and I've been multiple times. And I love traveling. My husband and I traveled a lot together, and I think I get that from my mother too. It just like travel is just rewarding, not just for the sights that you see, but like the different people you meet, the culture, traditions. You kind of realize there's a bigger world out there. Then the third thing is the arts. And that definitely was passed down from my mom too. Art is the poetry of life, you know, and arts are just enriching, you know, all kinds of music, all kinds of art, doesn't matter what kind, all kinds of theater. My mom was a Holocaust survivor. She was born in Berlin. The German government, as part of reparations, was offering trips back to Berlin. I said, I want to see where you grew up. And we went, and it was just a wonderful experience. My grandfather, who was killed during the Holocaust, I never knew him, but heard a lot of stories about him. And he had a jewelry and watch repair shop, and the building was still there. So we had all these experiences, and then after Berlin, we went to Paris.
Did you start like doing drawings because of her?
No,
or?
not me.
Really?
I have zero artistic talent. My sister got a little bit. My sister has some. I have zero, you know. And I'm going to be back in Paris in October.
Oh, that's nice.
And
what do you plan on doing?
Well, I'm going to spend 10 days there, my sister and I. And during the middle of that time, I'm meeting a girlfriend and her husband there.
Like during your childhood, were you like a maybe stubborn child or like like a very quiet child? Like how was your childhood?
I was a stubborn child. My mother told me that, you know. Stubborn can be used for good or it could be used for bad. She said I was young, but I understood. Maybe I was 6, 7 years old. And she said, you know, stubborn could make you stick to things and not give up, or it could be a negative, you know. She said bad quality, you know. I never wanted to move permanently for a job. I wanted to stay close to my family.
Yeah.
We had a large extended family growing up, and also friends. Well, especially now, getting older too. It's like I want to stay by my friends and my family. Now, my friends can be so supportive, and I wouldn't want to move to Florida or, you know. And
Not moving to Florida.
Oh, that's well, I wouldn't want to move to leave my friends. It's a support system.
Yeah.
You develop that support system, especially
it's
being
very
older.
Close bond and stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't want to.
My husband passed away 1.5 years ago.
Sorry
So
for your loss.
thank you. We were married 50 years, 50 wonderful years.
That's amazing.
Wonderful. And then I find even that my friends have been wonderful. I don't think I could have gotten through the first year without them, you know, and my family, of course.
Yeah.
But it's so important to have them around. So that's why when people move and retire to other places, I always say, not me, you know. I have too many close people in the area, you know. It's different when you're younger.
Yeah.
You can move to Florida now.
Hi, Henry. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. So, Julia, I see that you have brought an object with you.
Yes.
Tell me about this.
Henry, this object came from my family.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was little, my mother always kept her sewing stuff in it. And when she was teaching me to sew, and I just loved the basket so much, and she gave it to me later on. I realized that it started to inspire me with my own work that I like to do.
Really? Do you
Yes.
still sew?
I do. When my sisters and I were like 12 or 13, we sewed bathing suits out of bandanas, which were really cool,
Yeah.
right? Except we didn't understand that bathing suits have a sort of material that stretches.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into the water in a bandana bikini, it turns into a diaper.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those occasions where we understood that fabric has a specific role, and you got to know your fabric when you're sewing.
Sure, it looked cool though.
Out dry.
Dry, definitely.
Yeah. The last thing I was working on is I got into sewing felt, and I started making little felt creatures and objects that were inspired by going out into nature and collecting. And I think that's why this basket means more than just something that my family has touched and used forever, but that you go out and you collect things in a basket. And I go out and I collect things. It's a little bird.
You made that.
Yeah, you can hold it.
Really?
Yeah. So I think what I love to do is, that was felted, but I sewed some on. What I really love is finding something in nature and incorporating into the things that I do.
That's really cool.
Oh, I had a student who liked to talk a lot
Okay.
and couldn't complete his thoughts. And I was teaching kindergarten, and every student got a chance to have their day where they got to share. So it was, they could show something or they could share.
Yeah.
So this little boy had a hard time getting his thoughts to end, and he liked to talk. We only had a certain amount of time, so I met with him privately, and I said, how about I'll start to lean in my chair when it's going on too long, and I'll just keep leaning and leaning and leaning, and then you'll know to kind of wrap it up because it's really been going on too long. And I didn't want to embarrass him. This little boy started to share, and he couldn't stop talking, and it kept going on, and it kept going on, and I just kept inching towards, and he really, and instead of, he got so scared that I was going to fall off my chair that he kept talking faster, but he still couldn't stop. So I ended up falling off of my chair, and we all had a wonderful giggle on that. Yeah, we had a wonderful laugh. Fun hiking story. I hike everywhere. I like to bushwhack, meaning I like to go off trail. Lately, I've been feeling, because of my age and because I'm a single woman, that I maybe shouldn't do that as much as I used to do, because if I slipped and fell or something, no one would necessarily know. I like the idea of going off into the wilderness, and I'm talking Hook Mountain or Tallman Park, wilderness. Yes. And that feeling that nobody knows where you are and that you're sort of all on your own in nature is very cool. So I was going to stretch my calves by putting my feet up like this on a log, and when I put my feet up to do that, it was a round log. The log.
It's your fault.
Oh yeah, so I went down.
You went down?
I went down, and I laughed, and I said, you know what? Round things roll.
Yeah. That's a philosophy right there.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Maxine.
Nice to meet you.
So can I see what you brought in today?
I was class poet in 1958 at the University of Maine, and I found these poems in a drawer, and a friend of mine, Richard Connolly, put this book together.
What got you into writing poetry?
I think I was kind of depressed and felt like an outsider. And I had a teacher who was very inspiring, a literature teacher. Really? So we read a lot of poetry, so it just started to come out of me, Oh,
wow.
Well, it was nice because when I brought them to the teacher, he was very encouraging. And then he said, well, let's start a little poetry magazine in the school. So we started, one of those little magazines and other people's poetry. In my day, if you were 21, you were supposed to be married or engaged by the time you finished college. But I wasn't. So I went to New York, shared an apartment with a roommate, and got a little job as a clerk typist for a publishing house.
Oh, really?
And then I got another job for Harper's Bazaar magazine. They had poetry and literature at that time. They had a literary department. Anyway, so there were a lot of people who were writing poetry, and they were all boys. And there were a lot of poetry readings at cafes, and I used to go, but there were all these guys standing up there and reading their poetry. So I was very shy. I was like,
Did you ever read any of your
No. I was the third girl out of 3 girls. And I grew up in Long Island, right near Jones Beach.
Oh, really?
And I had a pretty good childhood, pretty happy, loving childhood.
Oh, that's good.
I was probably the favorite.
You were?
Because I came a little bit later after the other 2, and times were better. The Depression I came at the end of the Great Depression. Yeah. I remember going to Jones Beach all the time, taking swimming lessons, diving lessons, swimming.
Beach?
Yeah. It was a little town. It was kind of like Nyack.
Oh, it was?
You could walk to the village. It was before Long Island boomed,
Yeah.
So then, after I got married and moved up here, I started doing freelance editing.
Oh, really?
I was fortunate enough to meet someone who gave me some work, and then I got divorced, and after that I had to get a job, so I got a job with Reader's Digest condensed books, so I didn't have to drive to the city, or
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Do you still work there? Or?
No, so I worked there for about 20 years
Oh, I see.
and became department head,
Wow.
and now I've been freelancing ever since.
Oh. Well, thank you so much for coming in here and talking to us. I really enjoyed reading your poems.
Okay, I'm glad.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Great to talk to you again, Pat.
Thanks, McKay.
So we're gonna get right into our questions right now.
Okay. So first of all, this is made from a gourd, like a pumpkin. I don't know exactly when they carve it, how they do all that, but then they glue in this frame, and then they add the little chords to make music. And it's called, you can call it like a player piano or a gourd. During the war that we were in, and it was called Biafra at that time, the Nigerians were bombing us and all. So we had to go somewhere, and a wonderful chief, and he welcomed us into his village, and when I would visit him, and it was only, not even like a block away, there were no blocks there, but that distance, I would visit him, and he always had one of these. Once in a while, like in the evenings, he would be playing it. And when he played it, and this is out of tune and everything, he played beautifully. And he played it when his wife, and they were like probably 65, something like that, older people, his wife would dance. And so she would dance while he was playing. And it would just touches my heart to think about it. And she enjoyed it. And she was, she had been a mom of, I think they had 7 kids. And so this takes me back to him when I hear it. So, it was very special to him and very special to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful all around. I mean, I think music really connects everyone.
So this was special when you can do positive things during that kind of time.
A light and a dark time almost, so.
That's nice, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna add one thing to this that was kind of cool. There's a lot of palm trees in in Africa period, but in Nigeria a lot of them. And 2 of them are fermenting alcohol. One's sweet and one's not so sweet. And so these are palm trees. And so what a guy does, and it's always a guy, is he has like a hula hoop, and he goes back and forth all the way up to the tree where somebody already has like a gourd, a complete gourd, and in the hole of it they have like a straw, but it's, you know, stronger straw. And what happens is during the 24 hours that no one's gone up there, the juice of the tree has come out into the gourd, and the juice is wine, palm wine. And who knows how strong it is, but the woke, the man's tree, is stronger than the woman's tree. And so that's another way to use this gourd. And he wouldn't, when I went the last time I went there, I asked him, I said, can you play it for me? And he says, no. He says, my wife died, I can't do it, you know. Yeah. So, you know, that was the connection, so.
You make me want to go to Nigeria and see all these places. I mean, it really sounds amazing, and the people and all the music, and even one. I mean, I'm not old enough for that, but that really sounds all amazing. And I'm so thankful for you to share it with us today.
Okay, my name is Jenae. Can you tell me your name for the camera, please?
Sure, I'm Mary Alice Hohenberger.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you brought here today?
Of course. When I was looking for what says the most about me, I chose this book, which I had made for my first nephew when he turned a year old. It's not that the book is important, it's a reflection of my view of the world. So in this one, it talks about how Kyle came from the spirit world. And in the spirit world, he met his great-grandparents, who had all died before him, that they had left the earth before he was born, but they all gave him gifts. So he got his long fingers from my mother, and then from my father, he got his hairline and his name, which is Leonard, which means lion. And it goes on and talks about how everybody that came into his life, myself as his aunt, his parents, my children who are his cousins, as well as his friends, all contributed to him becoming Kyle. So the name of the book is Becoming Kyle. Because I believe we all start out either as maybe a tabula rasa, but not much. I think we're very much formed by our environment and by the people who love us. My sense of life and of living is that we're not separate from each other. We're all connected. So it's just this sense of connection is how I see myself and how I see my life. And when I look back in time, I see how the different obstacles that I had to contend with. One of the gifts of getting older is that you can look backwards and you can see a very painful place in your life and realize that the good place you're in right now could not have happened if you had not suffered that pain or that difficulty. And that's who I am, and that's my sense.
Can you tell me what's your best piece of advice for someone who's living?
Well, understand that, like I said earlier, if you're in pain right now, it's taking you to a better place. And that someday you'll look back and you'll say, oh my God, if I hadn't gone through that terrible experience, I wouldn't be where I am now. And be slow and be present. If people say, oh my, you have such an interesting life. I'm like, no, I don't. I pay attention. You have it too, and so do you, and so do you. Pay attention, be present, be there.
Your book, you created it about life and what it means to you. So can you tell me about your dreams and goals that you had?
Well, do you know what being institutionalized is? It's when you're so used to something that it's acceptable. And I realized when I stopped working after an accident a couple years ago that I had become institutionalized by working and accepting things that were untenable. When you find out who you are, I didn't care if people were climbing up corporate ladders and, getting really big jobs. I knew who I was, and I knew what made me happy, and I did it. I accepted no pressure from anyone. It didn't matter if people questioned the way I raised my children, but look at them now.
I thank you for coming. I really enjoyed talking to you and knowing about your story.
Thank you. This has been a great adventure. I really like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thanks.
coming.
Oh, thanks for having me. Cut.